Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we talk the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football, from the latest signings to this year's breakout stars and all of the news in between. As always, I'm Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
Hey, man.
What's up, man?
No, just chilling.
Just chilling like a villain?
Yep, chillaxing. Looking at the some Olympic update stuff, looking at Germany playing Nigeria in some Olympic soccer right now. Game's going currently. So
Okay.
Taking a look at that.
All right.
Good,
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Good stuff.
All right,
but
yeah.
we got, well,
What?
instead of talking about football, we got football to talk about today,
Yeah,
as
we
always,
do.
here at the GSMC Football Podcast.
All right.
Yeah, we got lots of news that broke yesterday
Mhm.
and pretty much this whole week.
Yeah,
It's
there's been some
really-
steady news.
It's been kind of busy past couple of days. Of course, we got to talk about Jamaal Charles, Dario Green Beckham,
Dorial.
Dorio,
It's unique, right? Unique name.
Dorio,
Dorial.
Dorio,
Mm-hmm.
and Christian Ponder. Yes,
Yeah, Christian
Ponder is
Ponder.
back in the NFL, and we're going to be talking about Marcell Dareus, Tyrod Taylor, and we're going to be previewing some Week 2 action of the NFL preseason. Man, oh man, see, Alex is excited right now.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, he just can't hide it. He really couldn't hide it.
No, man, I'm excited.
Yeah, all right. So we got so much to talk about. We're going to get started with Jamaal Charles here.
Yeah, Jamaal Charles returned to the practice field this week.
Yeah, he's officially off the physically unable to perform list,
Yeah, that happened yesterday.
a.k.a. the PUP list.
Yeah, the PUP list, yeah. He returned, obviously, after a little bit less than 1 year removed from his ACL tear that ended his season last year. The thing with him is, I like him. I really like him. He's a great player.
Yeah, he's been one of my favorite players to watch since he entered the league.
But he just can't stay healthy sometimes.
It's just,
he's got amazing speed. He's got burst. He's durable until he, as far as you can say durable, excluding the injuries. You know what I mean? Like, he's a small guy is what I mean. He gets hit hard. He's still a small fellow. But, no, he can't stay healthy. They have a somewhat solid running back core in Charkandrick West, Spencer Ware. Now Davis is still there, and they even have a guy named Darren Reeves, I believe, is a fourth or fifth.
Yeah, they got pretty
now.
good. They have pretty good depth at the running back position. Well,
Yeah.
they have to now.
Yeah, now Davis did great the first year that he really got hurt. Jamaal. Charkandrick West played well last year. Spencer Ware does well, in that offense. So, he took part in individual drills before he left practice. He left practice field, just to ease him back into it.
Yeah, so he only participate in a limited basis, I believe. And Andy Reid said Charles should be ready Week 1 of the NFL season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which it should help Alex Smith in that offense to have Jamaal Charles back, because when Jamaal Charles is on that field with, for this team, they are a playoff team.
Yeah, they are.
They're a playoff team, and they had trouble last year without him, even though they did win some games without Jamaal Charles. Jamaal Charles gives them that extra boost, especially for a quarterback like Alex Smith, who has been nobly a game manager his entire career. And, I think he's been playing a lot better with the Chiefs than he did with the San Francisco 49ers. But he still has that game manager, style to his quarterback play. But, yeah. Jamaal Charles, they should be a really big help for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. And in limited action, he only had 4 touchdowns and close to 400 yards.
Yeah, he played great. He really did. So it's good to see him back. Really is.
It's great to see him back too.
All right, moving on to Dorial Green Beckham. He's a receiver, formerly of the Tennessee Titans traded this week to the Philadelphia Eagles for 2015 fifth round pick. He's a swing guard tackle, Dennis Kelly. He was the 40th pick out of Oklahoma. He spent some time in Mizzou as well in college, but he never played for the Sooners really, practicing with them, but he never suited up, and then he obviously went to Missouri. He was kind of a question mark coming out of college. Huge guy, a receiver on paper that you want on your team, 6'5", 230.
Yeah, has a lot of athleticism.
Yeah, he had a good year as a rookie last year. 32 passes caught for 549 yards, and he had 4 touchdowns. But he apparently was very, very, very inconsistent with the team. He made mistakes, according to Howie Roseman, the Eagles general manager. But he thinks he's a kind-hearted kid who can get moving in the right direction. So, what do you think of this?
The Philadelphia Eagles did need help with the receiver core. They got Jordan Matthews hurt. He's going to be out for I don't know how long, but he does have a knee injury. Mm-hmm. And, they got Nelson Aguilar, who was their first-round pick last year.
I don't know. Is he first round?
Or 2015.
He wasn't first round, was he? I mean, I'll look that up if you want to keep talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, he was one of the high draft picks last year. And there's another receiver, Josh Huff from Oregon. He was drafted.
Yeah, he
there.
was the first round, 20th overall. Yeah, I completely forgot that.
Yeah, and then Josh Huff, he was drafted out of Oregon when Chip Kelly was there.
And they still have Riley Cooper.
They still got Riley Cooper. So
you have Selleck and Ertz.
Mm-hmm, yes.
But this adds a big body to the receiving core they didn't really have.
Yeah,
I mean, Aguilar's he's 6 foot. Just 6 foot.
He's still improving too.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like the USC, so I liked him coming out of college.
No, I did too. Yeah.
And then you have Jordan Matthews. He's 6'3", but
he's hurt.
You get elite size, with.
He did really good last year.
With Doyle.
In his first year starting as the starter, but I think Doyle, if he happens to improve on some of the mental mistakes that he made with the Tennessee Titans, it bodes well for the Eagles. This is like a win-win situation, and because this is kind of like a low risk in a way. They didn't give it too much for him.
No, they didn't.
They didn't give it too much for him.
Yeah,
and Dorial Green Beckham, he was supposed to be their number 2 receiver, possibly number 1 guy heading to this season for the Tennessee Titans, but he just wasn't. I guess mentally he just wasn't there. He made too many mistakes, and Mike Mularkey, he just was frustrated with Dorial Green Beckham, his performance this whole summer. So I think he just finally had enough, and he just decided, Green Beckham's not fit here. Mm-hmm. So they made that move. But from the Eagles' perspective, I do like it because they need help at the receiver position. If they can develop Dorial Green Beckham like the way the Tennessee Titans couldn't, then it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, moving on from the Eagles in the NFC to a fellow NFC team, and that is the Niners, who have – and this is the best thing about this is – so, I mean, it's horrible that Thad Lewis did tear his ACL. That's a shame. But he tore his ACL, so he was out, right? I was talking to my brother, who is casually a Niner fan. Like I told you a while ago, growing up, he was a big Peyton Manning fan. But he didn't follow him to the from the Colts to the Broncos or anything. He just maintained his liking for Peyton and liking him to do well. But he was pretty much been a Niner fan. And so, obviously, Thad Lewis got hurt. You only have Kaepernick, who is currently sort of still hurt with what they call a dead shoulder.
He hasn't
shoulder
thrown
pain.
a pass in practice.
Yeah, and then you have exactly. Then you have Gabbert, who did not play great at all, and Jeff Driscoll, who's a currently fifth round pick, currently on the roster. Excuse me. So. You need at least another body because, barring injury, so on and so forth, right? I was like, man, they're going to sign Christian Ponder, kind of messing with him because my brother does not like Christian Ponder and he doesn't think he's good at all. And what did they do? Sure enough, they signed Christian Ponder.
Yes, so they signed Christian Ponder on a 1-year deal. And the thing that was brought to my attention when the 49ers signed Christian Ponder is Blaine Gabbert. I think he was selected as the 10th overall pick in the 2011 draft.
Gabbert, I will look to make sure for you. I want to say it was like 7 or something.
And Christian Ponder was also in that draft, going number 12 to the Vikings. Mm-hmm. And Kaepernick went 36 to the Niners. So that means all 3 of these quarterbacks from the 2011 draft are with the 49ers now. Yeah.
Gabbert was the 10th round pick. Or, I'm sorry, 10th overall pick.
10th round pick, dang.
Yeah, he was the 10th overall pick.
Yeah, to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
To the Jacksonville Jaguars, yes. And then, he played his first few seasons there, obviously. And then, yes, you said Ponder was drafted. Ponder was drafted in the first round overall. Also, he's drafted in the top 10. Also, at the number. Where was he? No, actually, he wasn't drafted in the top 10.
Yeah, he was drafted number 12.
He was drafted 12.
Yeah,
excuse me.
12,
And then, obviously, like you said, Dalton and Kaepernick got drafted later in that draft as well. But the main one being the fact that Kaepernick got drafted 36th, one pick right after Dalton, as a matter of fact, out of Nevada for the Niners. And then who even knows how that's going to go?
I know, it's just.
But they're all on the same team.
They're all on the same team, so that tells you a little bit of something about all three of these guys.
I say, as of right now, Cam Newton, obviously having gone first overall,
he's still the best quarterback in that draft.
And Dalton,
yeah.
At least, they're the best quarterbacks.
I'm not sure if Tyrod Taylor was in that draft or not.
No, Tyrod Taylor's been in the league for a while.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
because I know he went to the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
he got drafted by them.
No, Tyrod Taylor, as far as I remember, he'd been in the league for a little while. He came out of Virginia Tech. Let me see if I can even find that as you continue.
Yeah, well,
what you're saying.
Getting back to Christian Ponder here, I don't know if he's going to get any time in the preseason game against the Denver Broncos.
Good call. Yeah,
what?
2011.
Oh, it was 2011.
I was going to say 10 or 9 because I remembered him being with the Ravens for so long. But, yeah, can you guess the round, though?
I think it was 5th or 6th.
Make a choice.
5th.
6th.
Oh, dang it.
180 overall.
Hey, 50-50 chance, man. Hey, I got the year right. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Yes,
but anyways, getting back to Christian Ponder here, I don't know if he's going to get any time in the preseason game against the Denver Broncos this week, which is a game we'll talk about possibly later in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a shame that Thad Lewis went down in the ACL. He
played well that game.
He played pretty well. I think he was the best performer at the quarterback position in that game.
Yeah.
Because you saw how playing Gabbert, he just looked miserable.
Yeah, Gabbert didn't look good at all.
Driscoll, he looked inaccurate, but he did make plays with his legs. Driscoll, he's probably going to take a little bit more, a couple of off seasons, a couple of seasoning to get up to speed with the game.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
So man, it's just a huge mess at the 49ers quarterback position, man.
Huge mess. Okay. Well, hey, we're gonna take our first break. We're gonna take it good because when we come back,
we're actually going to be talking about Tyrod Taylor in the next segment.
Exactly.
Yes.
And fellow Bill player Marcell Dareus. Okay, so we're gonna take our first break here at the GSMC Football Podcast. You guys don't go anywhere because it's only getting better from here.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. And now we're going to get into some news out of Buffalo. Yes, Buffalo. Marcell Dareus is suspended for 4 games.
Yeah, he is. He missed a drug test.
Another blow for the Buffalo Bills defense.
Yeah, facing a lot of injuries this year, some suspensions within the team themselves. Yes, Marcell Dareus, former top 5 pick.
Yeah,
suspended
4 games for violating the substance abuse policy of the NFL. And I think it's the second one because he was suspended for 1 game last season, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, because I think that's what put him in the protocol. And he was the 3rd overall pick. That's what it was. I knew it because right after Ndamukong Suh. Okay. Yes, facing 4 game suspension. Of course, he can fight it, but probably going to happen. Apparently, he came out and said this week that it was because he missed a drug test. So, not what you want to see from probably your star defensive player.
Yeah, and Dareus is going to be sidelined against the Ravens, the Jets, Cardinals, and Patriots 4 huge games.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But we'll come back week 5 against the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just, man, the Bills have just been hurting on defense, man. This is a problem for Rex Ryan right here. Problem for Rex Ryan, because it's just, I don't know how he's going to deal with this.
Yeah, he's not very excited about it at all.
Yeah, because they lost Manny Lawson. They lost Shaq Lawson, Reggie Ragland, all down to injuries. And not to think about it, it's not in our offense. They don't have Carlos Williams for the first 4 games also. So, I don't know. And it's the second suspension for Marcell Dareus after the Bills gave him a 7-year, $103.2 million deal 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
that's really not giving them back what they put into you.
They haven't got what they paid for him. And he only had, 2 sacks in 2015?
Oh, I would have to look.
And then Marcell Dareus, and then Dareus had 10.5 in 2014. Mm-hmm. So the front seven is just depleted.
Yeah, the Bills had to go sign former Falcon Croy Bierman. They had to sign him to the team. They're excuse me, really bringing in some guys, but it's not looking great for them in terms of losing players. One thing that is a bright spot for them is Tyrod Taylor.
Yes,
and he was given an extension.
Yeah. I believe 5-year, $90 million deal. That's been what's reported. 92. That's what's been reported.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Tyrod Taylor, but $92 million.
That is a lot for a quarterback who wasn't even supposed to be the starter last season, which is amazing.
Yeah, there's one thing that I've read, though, is that they negotiated an extension with him that pretty much gives him a flexibility that's allowing Buffalo to get out of the deal with minimum cap consequences after this season if he doesn't play at a level that they wanted him to.
Yeah, so it's actually a contract that favors Buffalo.
Yeah, technically, it's in a sense of a 1-year, $9.5 million contract. In terms of that's what he makes this season, and they can cut him before the 4th day of the league year next year, and they would only take a $3 million dead money cap hit. So that's pretty clever in their part, if he doesn't live up to this contract in the first year. Now, after that, I don't know if he has the ability to do so. I don't know if they can do the same thing following that date, I think it's only after 1 year. So,
yeah, well, Tyrod Taylor, this is the first offseason he went going into as a starter.
Yeah.
Because he was in competition with E.J. Manuel and Matt Castle last summer time.
And I told my dad and my brother, I was like, dude, I bet I can see Tyrod Taylor winning it. They're like, no way.
Yeah, and I was one of those people that maybe give Tyrod Taylor a shot because we knew what Matt Castle did, and we knew what we were getting in E.J. Manuel.
Yeah, he just led the team in a different style. Like E.J. Manuel didn't have the strongest arm. Tyrod's got a pretty strong arm. He's more mobile than him. Castle is a typical kind of quarterback, but he added the mobility factor that Tyrod added that mobility, and similar arm strength. So it was in my opinion, I thought he could have won it. No, obviously he did. And he had a good year too.
Yeah, and he was very efficient. 20 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. He was fairly good.
Yeah, he played great football. He really did.
Yeah, and then they were on the cusp of a wild card berth until late in the year.
Yeah,
but I think they have a shot to do it again.
I do too. I was his biggest fan Week 16 because the Bills needed to beat the Jets for the Steelers to make the playoffs, and they did so. And I was a big fan of his that day. I said, Tyrod. So, yeah, I was very happy with him and his play that day for sure. So, if you based off that, $92 million, I'm down with it, man.
Yeah, man.
You go, Tyrod.
He looks like he's going to have another good year. I don't know about if he's going to be as efficient, but he looks like he's going to be good again. Mm-hmm. For an offense that really needs really good quarterback play right now. And because the defense, I don't know how this defense is going to perform. So, it's
hopefully well.
Hopefully Tyrod Taylor performs so well that kind of can offset the defense. I don't know if he can, but we'll see how LaShawn McCoy performs this year and their running backs on the roster. That's what it will come down to. Yeah. All
right. Well, hey, we're going to take one last break, and we're going to come back and preview some of the games leading into the Week 2, the second week of the NFL preseason as we keep moving.
Previewing some matchups for you guys, yes.
All right, so we'll take our last break and be right back at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
And we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to preview some games.
Yeah, week 2 action.
Preseason week 2 action. So I can state that the first game, literally, last week there was 3 games pretty much starting at the same time. The first game of the week 2 NFL schedule is Philadelphia at my beloved Pittsburgh Steelers, so I'm pretty excited for that game. Obviously, I have a lot to look forward to in that. Big Ben, Brown, Bell, and D'Angelo Williams aren't playing, but I still have a lot to look at. But, Jeremiah, what are some games you are looking forward to this week? And I will give you some that I have my eye on as well.
Well, Thursday, I'm looking forward to the Chicago Bears at the New England Patriots. It is Jimmy G's next game. Yeah. So we'll see some more action for him. And I'm actually want to see Tyler Gaffney. I want to know if he's going to have a repeat performance. You know, trying to make the team. Yeah,
and they've been having joint practices all week, and there's been some bad blood between them, so it's going to be interesting to see how the game goes. Definitely interesting to see how the game goes. In relation to in Thursday, I'm looking forward to the Raiders Green Bay game. The Raiders showed a lot of depth at positions throughout their first game. A lot of good play from their position players, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that game as well on Thursday.
Yeah, they were fun to watch against Arizona.
They were really fun, and I'm also looking forward to a little bit of Cleveland, seeing some more RG3. So I'm
actually looking forward to every game. That's just me.
You know me, yeah. I mean, I watched every snap of more than 4 games in the preseason. Not many people do that. So, all right, what are you looking forward to on Friday of those 3 games? I know me personally, I'm really looking forward to the Dallas game. I want to see more Dak Prescott. I want to see some more Dak. I want to see a little bit, hopefully maybe if New York gets moving, I want to see if Hackenberg gets any action this time, because maybe the last week, he's the 4th quarterback on the roster. They don't always get, reps. Maybe also from the standpoint that maybe he didn't have the practice reps either. Do you have a game of that day you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I actually have 2, which is the same 2 you were looking
forward
to. All right.
Yeah, I mean, love to San Diego and Arizona, but sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's just my eye's not going to be on that game at all.
I'll check it out, but
I'll watch it. But I think I'm more interested to see New York Jets and the Dallas Cowboys. Well, New York Jets at the Washington Redskins. I really want to see Christian Hackenberg play. Yeah. Will he play though? That's the question.
Yeah, it's hard when you're the first. No matter if you're drafted to, and you're happen to be the 4th quarterback on the roster, or if you're a lower down guy. No matter what, it's hard to get reps at that spot in the depth chart. So hopefully he does.
And I want to see how Geno Smith is going to perform. He just got absolutely booed by the crowd in the first preseason game for the New York Jets. And he's not at home, but how is he going to perform? Because he's honestly playing for a backup role right now.
Yeah, he is.
There's no way he's going to be the starter.
No,
but he's playing for the backup role, and I don't know if he doesn't win the backup position, I just can't see him being on this team.
I imagine him winning the backup position purely based off the point that
he's been there.
Yeah, he's the only one with any game action. So.
But if he performs so bad, I just don't know what this team's going to do with him. But anyways,
we'll again, it has to depend on how Bryce Petty would play.
That too,
the same response. So
yeah, and then I'm also looking forward to the Miami Dolphins at the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott. I'm looking forward to see some more Dak. Hopefully, he'll play more time. I think he only
played a while. He played like the whole first half almost.
Oh, okay.
I think he did actually. He looked really great.
It's very important for me if he's going to repeat that performance because, the Dallas Cowboys, they need a backup quarterback. And
they do.
As of right now, looks like it's Dak Prescott. And if he repeats anywhere near how he performed against the Los Angeles Rams, I don't know. I think he might lock up that backup position if he plays well again. Another thing I want to see from this game is Ezekiel Elliott. He's probably going to get limited time if he plays. Mm-hmm. But how will he look in that limited amount of time? Yeah. And this is actually Arian Foster. He might suit up for the Dolphins for the first time in this game. So that's something that's something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the Saturday games you're looking forward to, Alex?
Am I correct in seeing that there's no Sunday games this week?
Yeah,
right?
you are correct. There's no
Okay.
Sundays games. Yeah.
Okay, so then to move on, then I would like to see Buffalo and New York. I want to see some more out of Cardell Jones. He looked not too bad last week.
Yeah, he did. He was fairly accurate.
Yeah, and he showed some athleticism from the pocket, some running plays. That was nice to see. I didn't get to see Jacksonville's game at all last week.
Oh, man, this receiver core looked really good last week.
Yeah, they looked deep is what I heard.
Yeah.
So did Tennessee, though. So I want to see some Jacksonville play. I'm sorry, Tennessee just happened to – I saw their name. I was like, hey, they look deep too. Jacksonville, yes, I want to see them play. I want to see some depth from them. I want to see some of the Houston game because Osweiler also looked very flat against the Niners on Sunday.
49ers,
He didn't look great at all either, and that moves me to San Francisco at Denver. You have what you said. You want to say it? I don't want to take your thunder.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about this even before we did the show.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst quarterback position in the league.
Of the battles. Compared
to one of the best.
Yeah, I would say of the quarterback battles, Denver's in the best position.
Okay, I was going to say, guess which one is worse and guess which one is better.
Yeah, obviously Denver is in great position with their quarterbacks, at least it looked like after the first game. I want to see some more of them. They all looked very capable.
They did. They looked all accurate, make some real good
Paxton
throws.
Lynch had a killer-looking arm. Trevor Siemian looked great, too. His very first throw was a laser. And obviously, Sanchez looked great. And then flip-flop to San Francisco. We've already heard that Kaepernick, I don't think, is going to play again. Gabbert, looked abysmal in his start.
He looked
Thad
horrible.
Lewis got hurt, so we don't, Ponder comes in. We don't know how much time he's going to have to learn any plays that he doesn't maybe already have an idea of, just kind of based off of schemes and how much time he would get. And then you have Driscoll as well. So they are really just up in the air right now with that. And then, of course, you have the Los Angeles Rams and the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, another Los Angeles Rams home game after bringing in 89,000 fans for a preseason game last week. I want to see some more Jared Goff.
Yeah, me too.
I want to see some Goff. I want to see some offense from him. I want to see more than I could see because it was very hard to get an idea of him because it was so up and down. He wasn't getting protected. He had a pick that wasn't really his fault. He had a nice pass that was dropped, a beautiful pass that was dropped. So
that was down the middle.
Up the middle. Nice dig route that came in between the safety zone and the linebacker drop zone. Nice, absolutely dropped. And then, I want to see, something from him that I didn't really get to see. And then he ended up going out of the game because he fell on his shoulder, a little sore, his non-throwing shoulder. And then some more Kansas City. They looked really good in their game against the Seahawks. They ended up losing, but they looked good. The offense looked tight and to open the game up with Alex Smith. Foles didn't look bad at all. Tyler Bray didn't look bad. Kevin Hogan.
Well, Tyler Bray might not
look
play
better
because he had that chip fracture in his spine.
Well, I'm saying they looked good.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So remains to be seen how they look. Also, do you have games on Saturday you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, there's two in particular.
Okay.
I think you know which one.
San Francisco.
San Francisco at Denver. Like I said, this is two quarterback battles. One of the worst.
One of the best.
And one of the best. Will Cat play? That's the biggest, I think, storyline of this game.
Yeah.
Will he play? He has not thrown a pass in practice. I don't know how long. I just don't know what it is. Apparently, they're not letting him throw. Maybe he is injured. Maybe he's not. But that remains to be seen. Will Gabbert take the league in the quarterback?
Oh, yeah. Will he play well enough to even without him playing, give him that idea that he played well,
Yeah, because, he has been considered a clear-cut favorite for the starting quarterback position, and he didn't play like he was a clear-cut favorite last Sunday against the Houston Texans. Will Ponder play? Another question that I had. Will Driscoll get more time? Which I think he will get more time. With Thad Lewis gone and Christian Ponder just joining the team, and Gabbert, he's probably not going to play more than a quarter. It's probably the most he will play.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Sanchez, will he officially separate himself in the quarterback position? Will he do that? Will Siemian close the gap? And what will Paxton Lynch do? I'm looking forward to this game because, you get to see how these Niners quarterbacks are going to perform and how these Broncos quarterbacks are going to perform. So this is probably going to be a really fun game to watch this whole weekend. I'm not saying that because I'm a Niner fan.
That's
but,
same reason why.
But
I'm
as a
Steelers
football fan in particular, it's
Yeah.
something I want to see.
Yeah. Also, I meant to mention with the Philadelphia game, some first action maybe of Dorial Green Beckham.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Yes, another player that I'm looking forward to watching. And one more game I'm looking forward to before we close out the show here. Kansas City Chiefs at
my games
at Los Angeles Rams. I do want to see more Goff. How will he perform? Will he have more help this time? And this is I think the last home game of the preseason for the Rams. Yeah.
Until the regular season.
So the fans will get to see Jared Goff one last time, possibly before he starts the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick Foles going against his former team. So will he play with the Chiefs?
Yeah, I imagine he will.
Will he play? Will he get some action? And this used to be the in-state battle because remember both these teams were in Missouri. Obviously, the Rams are not there in Missouri anymore. But
wait, they're not?
No. Where have you been? But obviously, this is still one of those preseason matchups or series, I should say, that's been going on for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And I think the kind of like the rivalry is still there a little bit. For Missouri fans.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, those are some games I'm looking forward to watching this weekend, and it's gonna be fun.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it next week.
Yeah, I haven't been this excited to watch preseason in a very long time.
Oh, I love the preseason. You know that. Okay, well, we got to get out of here. Jeremiah, do you want to fill them in on where they can find us and when they can find us and how they can find us and where they can look at it?
Wow, that was a lot of W's and an H.
Boom.
I think that was the 5 W's.
Let's go, man.
All right, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and SoundCloud. We will have episodes for you Monday through Thursday, each and every day, new episodes. And you can follow us on Twitter at GSMC_football and on Instagram at the same handle. That is at GSMC_football. You can also like us on Facebook at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast. And you can go on our website. You can listen to this show, my baseball show, Alex's soccer and sports show at gsmcpodcast.com.
Yep.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes, man. And I think that's it. And all I got to say is catch you guys on a flippity flip.
I'll catch you on the flippity flip. I'll see you on Monday.
I will see you on Monday.
All right, guys. Have a good one.